Everybody here right now is on the same frequency as Nip. Everybody right here love Nip. Even if you don't even know why you love him, that's why you here for it. You here because you gravitated toward the energy that he propelled to all of his fans, all of his supporters.
First of all, it's your family of origin. Parents, teach your children to love and to respect and to have integrity. And then children, you go out into the world and you live according to the values that you got, the solid values that you got in your home of origin. And tap into your spirituality. My church is Crest, K-R-S-T. They teach African spiritual science, okay? And that's where I get my strength from. And as black people, I want to encourage you to go back to your roots and find your creator and find your power, your spiritual power. And then when the spirits talk to you, when the LAPD told me that it was Nipsey Hussle that had been shot, my spirit said, oh, that's what it was, because I already knew it.
How does it feel to know your son was so loved?
It's amazing. It's amazing because they feel about my son the way I felt about my son. And truth is always true. And light always overcomes the dark. Be the light. Be the light of change that you want to see.
Thank you so much. Wish you all the best. Thank you.
There are still a couple of cars there. Well, like you said, the motorcycle guys are going to try to get in too. I don't know if they're actually part of that procession or not. I think, no, they're trying to put a halt to that. You see the folks are stopping them. They are getting in. The hearse is right up there. There it is. And I wonder, nope, yeah, they're going to, the casket is still inside. So they're clearly, the transfer of the casket is just about to take place. They're trying to quickly do that. And at the same time, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
They're going very quickly with it, though. You're absolutely right.
All right.
Yep, moving very swiftly, getting it inside. And that is really, that's all she wrote there. So the family is now at the funeral home here with Nipsey Hussle. That crowd now surrounding the building on all sides of the building. These mourners, again, who have been waiting all day, much like the crowd over at the Marathon clothing store at Crenshaw and Slauson. They've been waiting all day for this moment, so obviously emotions are definitely running high. And there's his sister, who is now stepping out of the vehicle. She has endured a lot today as well. She is now making her way inside the funeral home as well.
I would imagine even the simplest things, like a bathroom
like using
break.
the restroom. That's all I kept thinking.
Oh my
They
gosh.
must just
in
be
there for hours.
so many hours. So unexpected to see how the outpouring of love and everybody wanting to pay their respects. I think all of us were really just amazed at the show of force behind the love for Nipsey Hussle.
The motorcycles are now getting in. I don't know if that's supposed to happen or not. It does appear. Let's see, police officers are standing there, and then it does appear to be, maybe they're letting them in.
How would they monitor this? That's sort of the challenging thing.
Right.
How do they monitor this?
Well, it's
you see those
interesting.
other cars in the back right
Kind
there.
of the wild card to all of this, Colleen and Chris, is what does the crowd do now? Are they going to stay on the premises? Are they going to continue to gather? Are they going to eventually go home? Of course, there's always that concern when the sun goes down, things happen.
You're absolutely right. And I know, Chris, you've been seeing a lot of law enforcement. We see them right there. You see all the flashing lights, but it might be a very challenging night ahead to keep the peace.
Yeah, Colleen, still a few more vehicles left to drive into the parking lot there. There is a fair amount of LAPD, surprisingly enough, on the other side there by that other gate. I mean, the hope is at this point, once everybody's in there, the hope is that they will, you know, start making their way out of the area and start making their way home, obviously. But LAPD does have a few units here at the funeral home providing security and making sure this ends nice and peacefully here. You can see the LAPD air support overhead as well, doing some orbits and making their presence known. But the crowd, I've got to say, while it's a sizable crowd and while they are very emotional, it is a very, very peaceful crowd, which is the good news. You can see about a dozen vehicles that look like they are a part of the original procession that left the Staples Center earlier this morning. A lot of these vehicles that you're looking at right here weren't actually able to keep up with the procession all day because of other vehicles that were joining and falling back during the procession. Here you can see a large contingent of LAPD officers standing by, but at the end of the day, all of those original vehicles that made their way out of the Staples Center are now rejoining Nipsey Hussle's hearse here at the funeral home.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, Chris. Well, thank you. We're going to head to the ground. Eyewitness News reporter Veronica Miracle, she's been out here right on the ground all day. Veronica, how is it from your standpoint now?
Well, Colleen, I actually am just kind of stuck in the middle of this huge crowd right next to the gate. In fact, it's just so hard to move around because there's so many people wanting to get a glimpse. A lot of people, when that hearse came through, were just, you know, putting their hands all over. Everybody wanted to touch it. And I think that's what we've seen along the whole procession here. But you're seeing a lot of motorcycles burn out and just this crowd converging here as these cars try to get through. And, you know, I see a lot of people on social media, a lot of people, you know, just kind of cheering and celebrating his life. It really doesn't feel much like anybody is mourning anymore. Everyone's just celebrating the impact that he had on this community. And watching as this procession comes to an end here, it's definitely turning into a party and a celebration. Can you hear me still? I think I lost you.
Yeah, it is tough to hear you, Veronica, because it is very obvious that you, are right in the middle of that crowd. It's not only the voices, but it's those really loud motorcycles, the vehicles that are drowning you out. But you are safe, though, aren't you?
Yes, we are safe. Wanting to get a glimpse of the procession, so that's why everyone's crowded over here. But yeah, everyone's just celebrating at this point.
That's great. It's great to hear. Yeah, we're going to keep checking back in with Veronica. I know, Chris Christie, you're live overhead. We're seeing your images, and we're seeing more and more cars making through. But of course, you know, I think you said it earlier, a lot of these cars could not keep up with the hearse. It was impossible because of all the fanfare around it.
That's right, and they really had minimal, traffic units to help escort the procession at their disposal. LAPD did not partake in the escort. It was all private motorcycles, private security who provided some clearance at most of the intersections, but at times they got stuck in traffic. At other points, we've seen motorcycles and other members of the community joining the pursuit, trying to keep up on bicycles and scooters and running along with the procession. And it's been a very interesting afternoon here in South L.A. But again, with the exception of a little bit of stampede at one point over on Crenshaw and Slauson, where there were a couple of minor injuries, but LAPD was quickly able to regain control of that situation. With that exception, though, it's really been a very dignified day and a really, I would say, a successful funeral procession here. Despite a couple of exceptions, it's been really a pretty calm day and a really emotional day for a lot of the folks who you see right here in this shot.
Wow, and they're still trying to get some of this. I'm assuming that these vehicles are part of the procession. I don't know for sure because there are folks standing now in front of these vehicles. Maybe they don't want them in there. But
I'm not sure they are. It looks like somebody's trying to push them back and get them in reverse. I think they would like to, at this point, close that white gate. You can see some people have actually, made their way through there for really no good reason. There's no business at this point being on the premises there. They really want to back those vehicles up, which is going to be a challenge now that they've kind of made it this far with all of those people that have crowded 38th or 39th Street, rather. It's going to be a little bit difficult there, but they will eventually clear that area. I mean, again, I think the point is there's just not much left to see here today, and they would like to clear the area before it gets too dark, as you mentioned, David.
Right.
No kidding. And you see, I think more and more people are trying to jump into that the pickup truck in the back of there to try to get inside, but it's impossible to see how they're going to try to push people back. They're going to have to, but it's going to be they're going to have police probably try to get in, and that'll be the problem. Yes,
that's absolutely true. Okay, so we have it was a very brief moment, but right after the hearse arrived here at the funeral home, they quickly got the hearse, the casket of Nipsey Hussle out of that hearse. So we have some video to show you right now of that very brief moment as the hearse pulled in, and immediately they pull out Nipsey Hussle's casket and bring it into the funeral home. Well, I thought we had it.
Yeah, we have that video. We
do not have it.
We do not have that video right now.
Okay, so we'll get to that shortly. Looks like they're going to let those vehicles in and just kind of solve the problem the other way.
Well, but you see the person saying no more vehicles. But I don't know if the person who's saying no more vehicles is an official with the funeral home or what have you, because that car was not obeying those kind of commands. It just kept going forward, so the person was almost going to get hit by that car.
Now he's saying he's with them.
I think he's from the Nation of Islam. I believe I saw him a little bit earlier in the procession. So he's now trying to allow them to close that gate. And any of these other cars that don't belong, I don't know which ones are officially part of the procession or not exactly, but these will be able to, there you go, see the gate is closing. Any of these other vehicles on this side of the gate can be let out on the other side. It's almost like a drive-through, this parking lot at this funeral home. So they can still exit the parking lot, and they still have a lot of folks in there that don't really belong in there. But I think for the time being, it looks like everything is under control down there. It's just a massive
It doesn't look like they will not let them. Of course, they will not let them close that gate. You just keep seeing
close the gate. So now it looks. I mean, he's only one man. There's really only so much he can do, to be honest with you.
We're trying to get that motorcycle motorcycle rider out in the other direction too. I'm trying to also scour the crowd and see if we could find Veronica. In the meantime, as we promised, right after the hearse arrived, watch closely. There is a casket of Nipsey Hussle. They moved very quickly, and they got it out of the hearse, and they moved it within the funeral home. So yeah, it took a matter of just seconds. They quickly moved him in to the funeral home. That was just moments ago. And this is back live, and yet another vehicle.
Several more vehicles, David.
Yeah, they're letting a few more vehicles in. The problem is some of these, I mean, still you have folks who are, crowding the vehicles, crowding that white gate, and there's a real danger, of getting hit by these cars. I mean, here they're going to close the gate again, but there are still other cars. Again, whether they're part of the official procession or not, I don't know, but they're still trying to get in here. It looks like they're taking the opportunity. They're going to close that gate, and hopefully that'll be it, and they can regain control of the area here. I would not be surprised if LAPD, those officers that we saw a little bit ago, make their way over to this side of the funeral home and begin dispersing the crowd.